In today's video, I'm going to show you why Bitcoin and crypto is about to absolutely explode. So make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. So the first chart I want to show you is the Bitcoin chart. Now we're currently experiencing about a 30% correction. Now, even though there's been a lot of fear in the market, this is extremely normal for Bitcoin and crypto. And we can see that we actually saw a very similar correction earlier in the year. But what has Bitcoin actually been doing? Well, it's kind of been forming this parabolic channel. So we've been kind of respecting this green trend line here. And I'm expecting in the long term for Bitcoin to actually continue to hold this trend line and put in that final push to the upside before we eventually start our bear market. One indicator that suggests that we're actually going to get a move like this is actually the stock RSI. So we can actually see that we are printing a reversal down here. Now, what happened the last time we actually got a reversal? Well, that was back in September of 2024. And we actually got this massive run up where we went from about $50,000 all the way up to $100,000. So Bitcoin pretty much doubled in price. Well, if we were to get a similar type of move here as the stock RSI goes up, where would that put Bitcoin? Well, from where we are right now, or we'll measure from the bottom, 100% move would actually put us around my price target of $150,000 for Bitcoin. And that's pretty much what I'm expecting. But where are we going in the short term from here? Because it isn't always just up only. Well, let's take a look at the daily chart. Now, what we can see is we pretty much came down pretty close to these levels down here. Now, I'm just going to get rid of this green line just to clear up the chart a little bit. Now, we didn't quite touch the previous breakout point, but when we take a look at the total crypto market cap chart, we can see that when you're looking at the total market cap for crypto, that we actually saw a perfect support and resistance flip where we got our breakout and we now have come down and pretty much retested that level of resistance, flipping it into support, and we're pretty much ready to put in that next leg higher. So even though Bitcoin hasn't actually retested that key level of support, the fact that the total crypto market chart has gives me confidence that this was in fact a bottom. Now as well, where do I think we're going from here? Well, let's pull up our momentum waves to give us a little hint. So we can see that Bitcoin pretty much came up to this key level here at around 88,000. Now this was the bottom of our previous zone of support. So we've pretty much come down to retest that. But when we take a look at our momentum waves, we can see that this momentum wave is starting to look like it's about to curve to the upside, as well as our stock RSI is very high, looking like it kind of wants to come down. So in the short term, it wouldn't actually surprise me if we do see a bit of chop here and potentially form a double bottom here before we do get that bigger move to the upside. To see that upside for Bitcoin, what we really want to see is we want to get above this white line here and we want to flip it as support, because that is going to be our very key level that we need to get above, is this white line here at about $89,000. If we can actually get above this level, we will now be trading back in this sideways zone here. And based on the rules of a volume profile, when you enter into one of these sideways zones, you actually become more likely to visit the highs, which is around 102,000. So if we can get above and reclaim this level here, but it now becomes extremely likely that we push all the way up to the highs of this zone, where we could potentially look to claim that again to get that final breakout and that final push to the upside. Now let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, because most of you probably don't own Bitcoin, you're probably in the altcoins, and this is going to be the most important chart to tell us when the altcoins are going to run. Now typically Bitcoin moves first, and it's only once Bitcoin gets that big push up, the altcoins will typically run afterwards. So we can see on the Bitcoin dominance chart, but we've pretty much been holding this sideways level of support. Now, this is the key trend line that we need to break in order to see the Bitcoin dominance start going down and for our altcoins to absolutely explode. Now, we can see early in the year we did get a bit of a fake out, but what happened is we actually then got back above and reclaimed that level. So I want to see a very clear breakdown, and I want to see continuation and follow through to really confirm that this is actually a true breakdown of that trend line. Now, when we go to the Ethereum Bitcoin pair, we can see something quite interesting. Now, the reason I'm looking at this chart is because Ethereum typically leads the altcoins. In the cycle, normally Bitcoin runs first, then Ethereum will follow afterwards once Bitcoin's had its final push to the upside, and then the money will flow down into the smaller altcoins. So what we want to see is we really want to see Ethereum bottom in its Bitcoin evaluation. So the key level that I would actually be looking at is down here. Now, if we see Ethereum come down and retouch this level, this is probably the signal that alt season is about to start, as we see this chart start to reverse and as Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin. Now, there is a chance that we may have already bottomed on this pair because we are hitting a key level of support, which is this line here. And you could almost draw a box in this zone as a very key level. Now, whether we bottom at the top of this box here or the bottom, it doesn't really matter because we're close to a bottom. And whether you start dollar cost averaging now or you wait, it's really not going to make too much of a difference. But we're pretty much at that key zone for the Ethereum pair to bottom. And what I'm really expecting is I'm expecting Bitcoin to get that final push up to 150k, and that's potentially going to take us to the bottom of this zone. And then once the money starts to flow from Bitcoin into Ethereum, we're going to see that reversal in the Ethereum Bitcoin pair. And this is why I actually think Ethereum is a much better buy than Bitcoin at the moment, and especially some of these lower cap altcoins that are sitting at all-time lows at the moment, because the money is going to flow into these small cap coins. It's just a matter of time because we've seen the same cycles repeat themselves over and over again. And this is why you shouldn't be scared in these markets. Pullbacks are healthy in the market, and in every single bull run history, we've actually seen 5 or 6 major corrections. The only difference is the corrections that we're seeing now are way less volatile than the 2021 cycle or the 2017 cycle. We're only experiencing 30% corrections, whereas in those previous cycles, the corrections were actually a lot more significant. I believe at around 40 to 45%. So the volatility that we're actually experiencing now is a lot less than previous cycles, and it's completely normal. And I know that a lot of investors right now are fearful because they saw the prices going down, but in reality, this is the best buying opportunity to be able to accumulate quality altcoins now while we're trading at 30, 40, 50% discounts. When the markets turn back around, you're going to be in so much profit. We literally have one of the most friendly crypto administrations we've ever seen, and all of the fundamentals are lining up for crypto. Like, if you asked me this 2 years ago, if I was expecting to see a crypto-friendly government, if I thought would have a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF, if I thought the interest rates were going to be lowered, I would have been absolutely shocked, because literally everything that could have possibly gone right for crypto has been going right. Now, this market structure that we're seeing, this is healthy. When you see these big run-ups, there's always going to be pullbacks because people take profits. The people who were buying here, they're going to be taking profits on that move. And it's only once all of those people have taken profits that we can then get that next leg up for Bitcoin and for crypto. But as I said, this is the time to be accumulating. We've been blessed with probably one of the last big buying opportunities to really fill up our bags before the markets absolutely take off. And if you're not buying at these cheap prices right now, I know you're going to regret it. And if you want to know the coins that I'm buying, the top 10 coins that I believe are going to be the best performers this bull run, you can purchase my top 10 list. Just click on the link in the description below. And if you'd like some one-on-one coaching with me to learn how to trade and how to invest, just message me on either Instagram or Twitter. But besides that, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bitcoin, please go to moon. Stop going sideways now. Don't ever say we going down to 1K, but Mr. Novogratz say we have bottomed out, Novogratz is bullish. Bottomed out, don't ever rise is deadish.
Bearish target, 13 times there.
Novogratz is bullish.
Bitcoin could be at 40,000.
Let us go to